Hey guys, hope you're enjoying the beautiful weather. It looks like spring has finally arrived. Let's get back into Daniel, and let's start out by having probably the most morbid conversation that we will likely ever have. Here's the question: how do you want to go? I mean, how do you want to transition from this life to the next? Now, if you're like me, you aren't worried about what the next life has in store for you because you have faith in Jesus Christ and what he did for you on the cross. Confidence in Bible verses like John 3:16 that promise if you believe in him that you will have eternal life. Jesus Christ died to forgive my sins against God. And if I will just trust in him as my rescuer and as my God, then he'll bring me home to paradise in heaven. I'm not concerned at all, not even a little bit, about the next life. In fact, I kind of really look forward to what is coming in heaven. There's no quarantining in heaven, I promise. But how I transition from this place to there might be a little bit more of a concern for me, and probably for many of you as well. And no one I know says that they want to go through a long and drawn out and painful death process. I know. What a great and encouraging blog we're having together today, right? What on earth got me thinking about something like this? How do I want to go? Well, it's probably because my warped mind started to ask this question. Would dying by being eaten by lions be a quick and a painless death, or would it be more of a long, drawn-out process? I mean, maybe dying by eaten by lions is the way to go. Second, of course, only to dying in your sleep, right? I don't know. Honestly, I don't even know why my brain began to think of such a twisted thing. But what I do know is this one concept. Daniel didn't find out. So I can't even ask the guy when I get to heaven, was that a quick and painless way to go? Being eaten by lions or not? What I do know is this, that the reason Daniel doesn't know is because he trusted in God. Daniel chapter 6 and verse 23 says this, in the second half of it. It says, when Daniel was lifted from the den, no wound was found on him because he had trusted in his God. What a strange correlation between trust and the protection that Daniel experienced. Strange because, well, Daniel eventually did die. Not from lions, but he had to die from something. Why didn't he just trust God to live forever and thereby never die? Or why didn't he just trust God to win the lottery? Or why didn't Daniel just trust God to bring him back to Jerusalem so he could spend the rest of his days there? Is that how trust works? You just trust God and you can get anything that you want? Obviously, that's not how it goes. So then, here's the question. What does trust have to do with saving Daniel's life? Well, I think we should consider what Daniel really trusted God with. It wasn't that God would stop the lions from eating him. That wasn't what he was trusting in. I don't think Daniel ever thought for a minute that God was going to save his life because Daniel was such a great guy and he didn't deserve to go down that way. I don't think that's what Daniel was thinking, nor do I think that Daniel trusted God because he felt that, well, he was just so doggone important to God's plan that God was going to have to save his life. In fact, I don't really know that Daniel cared if he got eaten by those lions or not. Daniel just trusted that whatever happened, that God was working it out for the good of Daniel and for the good of his purposes. And that's what we want to trust in. That God's got it. No matter what's happening or what has happened. No matter what governors decide or what governors may force on us, that we, as believers in Jesus Christ, can still completely trust God. Whether we're thrown into the lion's den or have to make a public speech, we can still trust God. Trusting that God will keep us alive for another day, that's weak to trust in. But trusting that God is awesome and no matter what happens, it's all good, we'll be fine, God is great, now that's real and powerful trust. And that's the trust that kept Daniel preserved for a few more years so that he could keep doing God's work. I want my level of trust in whatever God is doing to be as high as Daniel's level of trust was, even if my final demise includes being lion food. We'll see you guys tomorrow.